Thank you, John. Um, so Jessica, thank you so much for being on the show. It is the inbound led outbound live. That's where we're trying to like create a category. We made this funny name up. And yeah, first I want to know, where are you physically in the world?
I'm currently in Nashville, Tennessee, where I live.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How long do you live there
Yeah.
for?
Um, well, I'm originally from Chicago, but I've been coming back and forth for about 3 years, living half the year in Nashville. And my husband and I just formally moved in March, but I feel like I've been living here pretty much, pretending to live in Nashville. It's an amazing city, and we we're building a house in the woods, like in the middle of nowhere. I'm very excited about it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. I tried doing that and stopped. Construction, such a disaster. Okay, so tell me about SimplyBe, what it was, what the
Yeah.
outcome was, and your
Yeah.
journey with this whole area of study of personal brand.
Yeah. Well, before SimplyBe, I'll take you back to even like the beginning, which is really sort of the epiphany moment that I had around the space of personal branding. So I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Mhm.
I'm on my third business now after selling SimplyBe, but my first business was an online magazine in the city of Chicago for the women of the city. It was called cheekychicago.com. It was a really amazing girls' guide to the city for like women in their 20s and 30s, my age, and at the time. And I was searching for where to go online. So I did what a lot of entrepreneurs do, is like solve my own problem and create the thing that was missing. And so I scaled what became the biggest online platform for women in the Midwest for about 7 years. And as part of this was in 2008. So this was the beginning of social media, like the dawn of the internet marketing conversation. And we had been, organically attracting this mass audience of women. Like we could push a button and reach basically, 200,000 women in the Midwest and in Chicago. So brands like Nike and Coca-Cola and Lululemon and Bloomingdale's, I mean, I could go on and on. We worked with over 200 brands in those 7 years, were coming to me saying, how do we reach these women? And so I just an innate kind of aptitude for social media from the very, very beginning. But the real inflection point came actually when I left that business in 2014. Transparently had a pretty toxic relationship with my then business partner. I'm sure many people on this call can relate to the challenges that come with that relationship. And was just ready to go off and do my own thing. And I had no strategy. I had no website. I had no client. I know nothing, but I knew I wanted to go off and consult. Like that was going to be the next thing that I did, because I knew a lot at that point about marketing and branding by working with the biggest brands in the world. And I have this little tattoo here on my wrist that says SimplyBe. I have that since I was like in my early 20s. And I just looked down at it one day. I was like, I'm going to name my business the SimplyBe Agency. That sounds cute. Again, no strategy. I left that magazine to launch this by sending out an email to my network. I BCC'd about 100 people and put a Facebook post up. Literally, that's all I did to announce that I was leaving this business to go start a new one. And within 5 business days, this is a true story. I write about this in my book. I don't say this to brag. I had about $25,000 to $30,000 worth of client retainer work booked. Like people came out of the woodwork wanting to hire me. And I was like, oh, the magazine isn't the brand. I'm the brand. People know my name. People have clearly a perception of me as an expert, or to help them do this thing called marketing branding that I didn't even realize at the time I had. I was like, what if this was less like reactive and accidental and actually really strategic and intentional? And that's what really set me on the path to build my own brand, but like just became obsessed with the idea of a personal brand. And so SimplyBe started to evolve. I started to pick up clients, and I kind of worked with a hodgepodge of basically anyone who would hire me at the time, because that's what, the point I was at in my career. And then I took a hard pivot and like into personal branding exclusively as a service, because I knew what I learned and had been doing for 7, 8 years at that point in the space of marketing for major brands. But I'm obsessed with people, and I believe in humanity and authenticity, and that the internet should have more of it. And so I combined sort of those two passions in this like real clear value prop for SimplyBe as a personal branding agency. And that's when the business blew up. And I say that I was at the right time at the right place. This was like 2016, 17, when like Gary Vaynerchuk was like everywhere. And all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, everyone sort of picked their heads up from the ground and was like, yeah, I think I should be on this thing called social media. Like, this is a thing. And I was just in the right time at the right place. And I went, from one person, one woman consultant to about 30 full-time people in less than 5 years. And just was exponential growth, and opened up 2 offices in Chicago and Nashville, wrote a #1 best-selling book, trademarked my methodology on how to brand a person, which I found out in the pandemic was a blessing because we innovated and had to pivot as everyone did. And I turned that curriculum into a DIY format and realized how teachable it was to the masses. So I've created multiple courses, I've taught multiple workshops, go into all sorts of corporate companies actually and teach this to leadership and executive teams down to sales team and even like junior level employees, because I believe everybody needs a brand no matter where you are in your career, especially entrepreneurs, founders, and leaders and CEOs. But I think knowing your brand is knowing what makes you you and how to articulate that clearly and quickly, and authentically in a way that people can connect who've never heard of you before. And that is a superpower. And so I believe our work changes people's lives as much as it does their businesses. Um, just to finish this tail end of the story where we are now, Hawk Media, the company that ended up buying it, I don't like to say buy me because they didn't buy me. I wasn't for sale. That's called my business. Um, Knocked on my door for like 2 years. Like, they were really consistent. They like just didn't leave me alone. And I wasn't ready because I knew the business was really going to take off even after the book launch in 21. And I finally seriously entertained their call in the summer of 23. And we were officially acquired in December of 23. So we started the year as a Hawk Media company. And that's been its own journey, and love to share if anyone has any questions about, the acquisition process. But I love Hawk Media. They've been wonderful. And there's nothing more truly that I love than helping people build their brands. Cause like I said, it's so much more than just perception. It's like empowerment.
Respect. You're
That's
awesome. Incredible story. And so like I'm just trying to get my head around the timeline. So you're in 2008, you started this agency?
No, 2008, I started my magazine.
Right.
It's left in 2014 to start this.
14.
And
That's
then I
still
kind of like,
wild.
yeah,
Like that's when I started my first company. And like if you would have said the words personal brand to me at that time, I would have it would have sounded Greek. It would
yeah,
have sounded like
yeah,
something I'm just like, I don't need that. I don't want that. I need to like sell on phones to people.
yes, interesting.
It's so, but I guess I'm not an early adopter and you're just like the
Like I
innovator.
said,
Like,
I look a lot younger than I am, I think. I've been around a while. But I was saying like 2017, like when I pivoted the business to, 'cause in 2014, I was like general marketing, branding consultant. Like if you needed help with anything marketing related, you could hire me and I'd help you. But when I took a hard left or right or whatever you want to call it into personal branding in like 16, 17, that was really when the conversation started in a lot of ways. And even then, I mean, people were like, what is that? Or
yeah,
ew, like, why would that's so ego driven. Um, and it's become much more of a common conversation and like kind of everything right now.
yeah,
And that's why Hawk was like, because we had really positioned ourselves as one of the top personal branding firms in the country.
yeah,
And Eric, the CEO, like was getting asked to do personal branding all the time and didn't have the internal team to do it, which is why he wanted us. But you're right. I mean, it's to some people, the idea of branding yourself is weird.
yeah,
But I think that if you really want to win today, in business, like everyone's online, and instead of having to make those sales calls, like you were saying, when you get your brand right, it reverse engineers that process. Like I didn't pick up a single phone call to start an entirely new business that turned into a 7-figure business in less than 18 months. I did that all in my name and reputation and market perception. And
Right.
like I said, I did that accidentally. And so when we get really intentional, that's when we become like the ROI on this stuff is like kind of almost intangible because there's so many doors open.
Yes.
And you train your audience and your market to what to know you for through the power of clarity and consistency and constancy, which
Right.
equals memorability. And that's your strongest business card you'll ever have is your personal brand. And the power of it, doing it authentically is really my jam and making you magnetic. And the last thing I'll say, because I want to take your questions, but you don't have, I got a lot to say. Like clearly I'm very lit up about it, but you don't have to be like famous. Like you don't need millions of YouTube followers or LinkedIn followers we've transformed people's businesses by growing their LinkedIn following from like 300 people to like 10,000 people. You know, you just have to be known in your lane.
Yeah.
And that's actually amazing and more effective than trying to go super wide and shallow. Like go narrowing and deep is the way, is the
Totally.
move.
This is such a terrific conversation, and you've had such a amazing journey, Jessica. So let's dive in. And the question that's on everybody's mind probably is 2024.
Mhm.
How do we build our personal brand? So let's pick a persona like, say, entrepreneur,
Yeah.
which is
And by the way, like, I think we told you this, like everybody on this call is B2B SaaS, a lot of founders, mostly founders, some marketers. Every single one of them is on this call because Santosh and I have a personal brand now. And 18 months ago, we had never made a post on social media. So this is like a near and dear conversation to us. And it's just worked so well for us that
Yeah.
I'm trying to share as much about it as possible because I just can't believe it. You know, it's like the most,
Yeah.
and like there's a lot of so there's two things that I'm just dying to ask you. Like one, I get asked a lot of the time because we have this magical alignment where like, so we were selling into D2C. That's like how we knew Hawk Media in that world. And then we launched a product for B2B. So like for us, for SaaS people in March. And we started making content for SaaS people last Labor Day. And like now it just exploded because it's this magical alignment where I am my ICP and my ICP is on this platform, which is perfectly suited for this deep thought leadership that,
Yes.
you know, whatever, right? Question number one I always get is, what if I sell to hospitals, but I'm a SaaS? Should I still do the LinkedIn thing, right? Like, how do I build my personal brand to be this secret weapon if I don't have the magical alignment that you have, Adam? Like, what would you recommend? You know,
Uh,
a slightly different question, like, what should their goal, what should their strat? I think everybody agrees with you. It's like, I need to use this tool for something, but like,
Yes.
what is a reasonable goal and what outcomes could I expect if I
Mm.
don't have this magic thing happening?
Mm. So B2C, B2B, D2C, da 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 da. Like I feel like at the end of the day, we're in the P2P industry, people to people. Like people do business with people. And I love that you started on LinkedIn. I think that's like social media is more powerful today in 2024 than it's ever been. Um, but what I feel like you've probably done, Adam, in a very like accidental way too, is be yourself, like be a
Oh yeah,
human,
for sure. More than
right? Like,
anybody on LinkedIn.
right.
And that cuts through on LinkedIn, by the way, because
It
everybody's
cuts through it.
acting like they're at work.
Yes. Yes. LinkedIn. We could do I could do a whole hour on LinkedIn alone. We can definitely talk about it, but you being yourself cuts through really truly everywhere. You just have to stay consistent with it. Um, and to go back to Santosh's question, like, what do we do? Where do we start? Um, I, I would love, I mean, I'm not doing a shameless plug for my book. Like I'm really not, but you should go buy it. I will shamelessly plug, everyone go buy my book, but this is the, entire framework and methodology of what we did at the agency. This is all trademarked methodology. And I have a very clear like process that I would I'll walk you guys all through on just how to think about it. First is, I believe, messaging. Like, yes, you can create a ton of content and like crank social posts and blogs and emails, but like, if your message isn't clear, if your brand identity isn't sharp, it's just going to be noise. People aren't going to feel it. It's not going to pierce through at the end of the day. So I have this framework that's my number one foundational framework called the personal brand hologram. I won't go through it in too much depth because we only have so much time. But essentially what I do is, and we've done this for thousands of clients. This is the first step we take all of our clients through. And sidebar, most of our clients at SimplyBe were in the B2B space. Like that was our niche as an agency. We mainly work with tech founders and software, AI, fintech, food and beverage, recruiting, like that. We weren't talking to influencers and celebrities. We were serving the B2B space. So this works for everyone. It works like a charm. And it's essentially helps you identify like your brand slogan. Like what's the thing, the one word, the phrase, the feeling that you want people to associate your name with when your name comes up. Like Gary Vaynerchuk is hustle. I keep going back to that. Or, what do you think when you think of Elon Musk? Like think of a lot of things, but disruption, innovation, X, like whatever, alien. But this is like the one thing that you want people to just associate you with. This is typically the hardest part of the hologram. Then these 4 boxes are called your brand pillars, which are 4 topics, 4 basically tenets of your brand message that you stick to. Because if you try to talk about anything you feel like any day of the week, no one is going to have anything to remember you for. You're going to come off really kind of messy and unmemorable. And inside of the brand pillars, it's called B, a no BS guide to increasing your self-worth and net worth by simply being yourself. Just to answer the question. So these become the pillars that your brand like literally stands on. And you have to be kind of vigilant with yourself with sticking to your own script and creating your message. This is like the blueprint that builds the house called you. And then inside the pillars are called the unique insights, these little bullet points, so that you can really extract what makes that part of your brand yours and yours alone. So you might be a tech innovator, you might be a financial leader, you might be a incredible father. You might want to incorporate that into your message, but like, what is it about your approach to fatherhood or your approach to technology or whatever that is unique to you? And that's where the hologram really starts. It helps us get clarity in the brand story, because if you don't have a brand story, your content is going to be blurry, and we can't have blurry content today. It has to be razor sharp. From there, I have another tool called the supernova, which is pretty much a Venn diagram where I challenge the reader / the client / my team to combine those pillars into 1 + 1 = 3, essentially. So if I combine like fatherhood with leadership, like what else can I talk about now? And this is the idea of the supernova, to explode your mind with new ideas for content. And this is a really great practice if you're not a content creator and you're more of a technical mind. This is why this framework works so well, because it's super pragmatic. Actually, you don't have to be exceptionally creative to do it. But once you're done with those 2 tools, those 2 exercises of really honing in on your 4 content pillars, your kind of brand slogan, and you start to play with how those things come to life together, you have a foundation of what your message is, what you're going to start talking about, how it can come to life through blogs, through social posts, through email newsletters, through keynote talks, through programs, through webinars and white paper. The next piece is where you actually say it and who you say it to. We have to know our audience. We can't be everything to everyone, or we're going to be nothing to no one. So there's a big section in my book of really identifying your audience, understanding the competitive landscape, just like looking at other people in your space who have interesting and, impressive personal brands who are reaching that same audience, and how you can differentiate. So it's a bit of brand analysis and strategic study. Did the lights just go out where you are?
No, well, it just got dark.
Okay. It's like, it looks kind of like,
Yeah.
like campfiring. And I hope I'm not going through this too fast. I just want to be
No,
efficient
no, no. This is
and
perfect, and I can't wait to like say a couple things once you get done because you're saying this and like the best people, what you're saying, I just have all these examples to like cite.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't really believe in competition, but like study your competition. Like look at the other people who are like crushing it with their personal brands in your industry and beyond. And there's things that we can learn and be inspired by when we see that. And then the last thing I'll share, because there's much more to get through in the book. I talk about PR, I talk about social media in depth, but this is one of my cornerstone frameworks for strategy, which is this, what I call the pinnacle content framework. Most of us start with social media. Everyone wants to play on LinkedIn and Instagram and X and Facebook. And this is where we think our personal brand lives and dies. That's if you want to be a content creator for a living. But I believe everybody on this call is an executive and wants to be paid for their expertise and business. And so this is what we call, in so many words, a thought leadership strategy, where we zoom up and we start at the top with pinnacle content. And pinnacle content is how you establish thought leadership by creating deeper, more slightly time intensive, high value content in the form of a podcast. This is thought leadership, what you do every single week, Adam. This, like, you've branded it. You were saying earlier, like, this is a fun thing. We've called it this thing and just messed around, whoever you were with before. I was like, no, you branded it. You just called it, you needed a thing. We have secondary content, amplification content through email, SMS, like push notification. There's all sorts of ways we can get our content out there so people are aware of our platform. And there's the importance of like language and tone and voice and everything you're doing. And then this is what we call external outreach, which is our sort of spin on PR. And we do PR services for our clients, where we get them on, Forbes and CNN and all of the major outlets. That's like traditional PR. But in today's world, it's evolved, and you can really get yourself seen on other people's platforms by way of LinkedIn Lives and podcasts and panels and virtual events. And there's just so many avenues for you to amplify your brand onto other people's channels to grow brand awareness and bring people back to your channel. And so what we do is, this looks very simple, but this becomes a granular strategy of all the different pieces we put in place. And that's why, we had a business, because a lot of people were busy and we did it for them. But there are a few things that you can obviously, if you're serious about building a personal brand, you're gonna need to spend time on it. You have to look at this as an essential part of your day-to-day, week-to-week schedule. So that's, I'm done. You can ask me anything now. It was a
Okay.
fire.
The first thing I'm going to ask is how much time? Because like I view it, again, we have this magical alignment. It's actually
I'll be.
all of our marketing, right?
Yep.
And it's my whole job now. Mondays I have internal meetings, and it's in one way or another, I'm either doing guest slots on other people's podcasts for the other people's platform things, or we're like filming for something, or I'm writing, whatever. It's just, I think for me, it's like the future, and
Yes.
there's nothing like it. But
Yes.
for someone who's just, I hear you, Jessica, every word of it. I bought the book. I'm going to read the whole thing, but like, how much time am I going to need to spend on this?
You're going to probably, I mean, I want to answer this very intentionally, because I don't want people to like, freak out, but like it takes time. There's ways to scale your time with ChatGPT today by hiring some internal people or external partners, but you're the thought leader. It has to come from you, and you do have to dedicate at least a couple hours a week. I mean, it sounds like your business has evolved, Adam, where like you have the systems and structures in place, and you understand the value of the ROI of what you're doing by getting that visibility. And so that's become your number one priority, which is something to aspire to and be motivated by, to everyone on the call listening. Not everybody can turn that on tomorrow. I think that if you dedicate I don't know specifics to who's who on the call, but like posting a couple times a week in LinkedIn, like 3 to 4 times a week in the feed, because you're absolutely right that LinkedIn wants you to be a human being and you're standing out because you're being like raw and real and fun and you're we actually worked very closely with LinkedIn at SimplyBe because of our clientele. We had mainly executives. So they wanted us to be encouraging our clients to have major presence on that platform. And to just be a content creator on LinkedIn today is an edge because so few people are creating content there today. Most people use it as a content consumption channel of like the news and what's happening in their industry. But if you create content just strictly in the feed, you're winning. You're a step ahead. I would recommend you take it a step further and maybe blog once or twice a month. You have LinkedIn newsletters now where you can blast your whole network with updates. Getting yourself out there on some podcasts a couple times a month is also hugely effective. The podcast space is extremely exciting, and there's multiple, every niche in the world, every industry in the world has a podcast about it. So that you can really dive deep with targeted audiences there and build rapport with amazing hosts. That's the number one form of networking today is podcasting. It's a long-winded answer to your question, Em, because it's kind of hard to answer, but I would say just kind of like, it works, it's powerful, it's pretty much the main marketing vehicle most businesses are using today, those that are smart, and they're spending a lot of time and resources on it. I'm not telling you to do that right away or even ultimately, but a couple hours a week where you're creating value for your community and sharing it in any capacity is necessary. It takes, and content creation takes time.
Agreed.
Nice.
I know. So, back to what you were saying about the pillars.
Yeah.
The people that I started studying when I really wanted to up my game on LinkedIn was this dude, Chris Walker. And I think he's like really,
I know Chris Walker.
yeah, so he's a friend of mine too. Demand gen marketing was like his thing. And
Yep.
like, I thought this stuff was so good. And then I spent weeks looking at his stuff and I'm like, wait a second, I listened to like 100 podcast episodes. I'm like, wait, like this guy's talking about 5 things, literally. Like I made a spreadsheet. I'm like, here are the things he's talking about, and here are the things that I could talk about, which like kind of would be my version of the things he's talking about. That's
Yep.
literally how I started when I started writing for B2B, and it worked great.
Yeah.
Kind of like this idea with anything, right? Like politics or media or like whatever. It's like he's a master in my opinion because it's like he's so good at writing that you don't realize he's saying the same thing he's been saying for 5 years. And then he wraps it up and it's like, that motherfucker just got me on multi-touch attribution again. Like, how did he
Yep.
do that?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
it seems so fresh and so real,
That's where that supernova tool comes in. I mean, people are like, you create your message and you're like, okay, how do I make this never boring, but never off brand? And that tool really helps you come up with new and constantly new ways to talk kind of about the same thing, because you are who you say you are to your audience over and over and over again. You train your audience how to see you through the power of your content. And he's mastered that. And that's amazing that you took that from him, because it's how it works today. You have to stay consistent. That's how you stand out and rise to the top, essentially.
amazing. Can we get some just from the audience? Like, I'm like on the edge of my seat right now. Are you guys enjoying this info? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just feel like this is so good. This is amazing.
Let me ask you a question while we're waiting for some more. So you spoke about authenticity.
Yes.
In B2B, are there still do's and don'ts to authenticity while staying true to your values? I mean, that's a different, how do you bring your values and biases and beliefs while staying authentic and maintaining some kind of, I guess, some do's and don'ts so you don't cross a line?
So You're talking to a very biased woman.
Okay.
And I feel like, I mean, you don't be a dick, don't be inappropriate, don't talk, don't go too political, don't call people out.
Sure.
I'm sorry if I just swore, but I'm just, come from your, I think the biggest do,
Mhm.
this is really the unlock and the reframe that all of our clients like had to have, because many of our clients like were CEOs of major tech, like tech companies that wanted nothing to do with being in the public eye, but it was like their CMO who was like, we need you as the CEO to be out there. And they kind of like dragged their heels into our office.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, when you really craft a message that is what I call of service, meaning every single piece of content you create, you are thinking and connecting to the person on their computer or their phone that's going to receive that content. And you're
Mhm.
there to help them, you're there to educate them, you're there to inspire them. And if you come from a genuine like motivation to be of service, you're never going to come off egotistical. And if people think that you're being egotistical because you have a brand, then that's not your problem. That's theirs, for the record. That's a projection. But to not be like self-promotional and gross and make it all about what you had for breakfast or how well your business did. Like people want to see humanity, people want to
Mhm.
see authenticity, but they want to see it in service of their own businesses, their own
Right.
team, their own industries, so that they come to you as an authority and a trusted resource because they can feel like you care about them. And that has to be a come from, and people can feel that energetically. Another thing, to answer your question, if you don't mind, am I allowed
Mhm.
to share my screen? I'm going to share my screen really
Yeah,
quick
please do.
and share something with you. Let me just make sure I have it up. So one of our clients is the CEO of a company called Second Front, and they are a defense technology company. Okay, so like he was a Marine, like magnificent executive in like one of the most serious, like they work with the government. Okay, so talk about needing to be a certain level of executive polish. And he came to us a couple of years ago, and we also branded his COO, but he's the CEO. His name is Tyler Sweat. We transformed his entire brand. We got him at South by Southwest. We got him on some really major media outlets, and just they had just raised about $80 million and were going after hiring like 100 people within a year. They were in a mass scale up when they hired us, which is why they hired us, because he was sort of invisible and he was the CEO. He actually was the CRO and got promoted to CEO during his time working with SimplyBe, and he credited a lot of that to our work with him. But anyway, you'll see here, we wrote a brand story. Tyler Sweat doesn't want to talk about his personal brand. He didn't care. Like he was like one of those guys that was not here for the fame. He was here for the work. He wants to talk about being an integrator for national security and emerging technology. So we write this brand story. I won't go through the whole thing, but this was, it's part of the magic at SimplyBe. Now, he's kind of like Joe Rogan-y, which is why they wanted his personality to be out there a little bit more. And he's like funny and like rocks lays and stuff like this. Like we put this on his branding to like give it an edge and make it fun. Just this was an internal document, but just humanized him. And this is his hologram, right? So de-risk your life is his headline. Who he is, by the way, the pillars of the hologram go: number one, who you are; number two, what you do; number three, how you do it; number four, why it works. So number four is kind of who you are as a human being without your paycheck. Like, who are you? Good dad, good dude, good American. That's really kind of his energy. Shapes outcomes, what he's doing essentially at Second Front is his like exact sort of tactical responsibility is to shape the outcomes between emerging tech and national security. How he is doing it is through integration and delegation. And this is really what we wanted to position the brand for, since one of their objectives and KPIs was talent recruitment. And then why it works is because he's no BS, real relationships and real revenue. We did his supernova where we came up with a whole bunch of fresh topics for him. We transformed his hologram into an elevator pitch. And then we came up with voice, tone, look, feel. This was his brand identity. And then also an audience analysis of really understanding who he's talking to so that every single piece of content is not just random, but pointing towards the pain points of what they're specifically looking for. And we did analysis of the white space, like I said, and looking at other executives. Again, you probably don't know these names. None of these people are famous, but they're doing really strong things on LinkedIn and social media that we wanted to pull pages from so that he could stand out. What we ultimately did with Tyler, I'll actually go really quickly to this, is this is his brand strategy, where we put together a podcast. And it was called it's called All Quiet on the Second Front. It got like, I don't know, a couple 100,000 downloads in the first month. It was tons of reviews. He was recognized in London at a conference 6 months after we launched his podcast by a stranger who came up to him and said, I listened to your show. So we built out his original concept and, all of his PR. We got him on a handful of these outlets and podcasts. We write the pitch letter, all this to say we optimized his LinkedIn and we transformed his visibility as the CEO of this company. They've raised more money. And this is a long-winded answer to your question, Santush, of like what's do's and don'ts. And if you like, it's all obviously based on the personality. We're not going to like push you to be anyone you're not, but Tyler's kind of like this gruff, Joe Rogan-y, vet who like is really passionate about American values and like building a huge business. And that's who we put him out there to be online. And it was magnetic, and it really, really clicked. And we also did branding for the COO at the time, who was a woman, who was one of 8 women in the entire defense tech spaces. And we really led with her story of being a working mom and how she balances it all. And also what kind of leader she is. She's a magnificent leader, but that blew up her brand and got her on 50 podcasts to talk about the balance between executive leadership and motherhood, which humanized the executive suite in a very like tech forward industry that also help with recruitment. So it just depends on your goals, your objectives, your audience.
Can we just, what are goals that people would have with this? Right? Because it's when you look at what I'm doing and what I'm yelling about, it's like, oh, we're like, our business is crushing because of this. Why else is this a superpower?
So, I mean, I have so much to say about this. First of all, most people come to this space when they're at an inflection point where like them being more visible is going to help them with what they're trying to accomplish, whether they're raising money, they're scaling up, they're about to sell their business, they need to hire a bunch of new people, they're about to launch something new. So really, what's your inflection point? Like, why did you come to this call? Like, why does this space interest you in the first place? Like, what's the potential you're trying to reach? And then breaking that down into, your milestones and your KPIs. Obviously, it's a business driver, obviously. I think that it creates actually like doors to open for you that you probably can't even imagine opening for you, like getting asked to speak, being on someone's podcast, being brought into a deal, referrals, introductions, media that picks you up organically, that exposes you and gives you credibility across. I mean, I got picked up on Forbes. Like I had an organic article in the early days of SimplyBe. Like I didn't pay for that. Somebody reached out, a contributing writer, and did a whole article on me, and I called me an expert in personal branding that I wasn't even looking for. But that writer was following me on Instagram. And she was like, I want to do a story about you. And that accreditation of being a Forbes expert changed my business, put me in a different sandbox to talk to people about this. So yes, it's going to grow business. It's going to grow influence. It's going to grow reach. It's going to grow relationships, your network, your credibility. And how you want that to look. Like I often say, a strategy isn't a strategy unless it has objectives, KPIs, and milestones. So really asking yourself, what are the metrics that matter to you? Why are you doing this? And building your message and your strategy from that point. But there's a multitude of ROI that can come from this.
So
Great. So
yeah, go ahead, Santosh.
Oh, I was going to ask a question that somebody from the audience just posted. So the example you shared about Tyler was great, but he also had a lot of experience and he was a senior exec. If somebody is slightly earlier in the career or doesn't have the level of experience, how do you go about building the brand? And let me take a pause there and see.
I mean, I'm a little woo, so I hope that's okay with you guys. But I feel like everybody has a story to tell. I feel like everyone has their own unique life experience, whether you're 28 or you're 58. And in order to become like a Tyler, you have to start sharing your story. You have to start putting yourself out there and attracting your audience for what you have to say based on where you are in your career. A lot of the companies that hired us at the executive level brought us in to do workshops and trainings to their junior level teams because they needed to know their brand. They needed to know how to communicate their value. They needed more confidence in their own elevator pitches and presenting in front of higher up leaders, showing up on social media, representing the brand. I don't really think that you're too young to ever start this work, and I don't think you're ever too old to start this work. I think every single person has a value based on their own unique resume, their own unique education, their own unique family system, culture, heartbreaks, failures, successes, like all of that stuff is your story. All of that stuff is actually your gold. And just ensuring that you're always sharing it from service. But I don't think that I think you actually have to get on it even more significantly if you aren't like a Tyler one day, but you want to be, start to build that brand reputation now through this work. I think that it's an amazing question, but I think everyone has a story to tell, and you shouldn't be disempowered by a CEO with a big brand, because if that was the case, then none of us would do this work. And so many people are, and I say this in my book, like there are people out there that are doing the personal branding really well who aren't that great, but they're getting the business that you want to get simply because they're visible and you're not. So, and that's a huge loss. So now is the time to tell your own story, be yourself, be strategic and consistent with it. But there's no reason why you can't position yourself as the expert that you are becoming.
So a few questions have come in about like the time commitment again, right? So like and I know it's not your agency anymore, but like what would someone who worked with an agency, so like I say the wrong thing. I started with a ghostwriter and it wasn't the right
Oh
strategy.
yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
get it.
And I've
Yeah.
been saying start with a ghostwriter because I think in some ways it helped because I watched how people wrote on LinkedIn and sort of started moving in a direction, but there was no strategy behind it, like you're saying. And now there is, and it just emerged, but like, I, you know, I have all that stuff now. Like I understand why what I say fits into all of that because
Yeah.
I know why I'm writing when I'm writing, and I know, whatever. So how does someone work with an agency? Like, are there other agencies like SimplyBe, or is it the only one? Or like, how does somebody start this process? What's the time commitment to like get a couple of those decks like you just showed, right? Like, and
Yeah.
and you guys don't ghostwrite, correct?
No, we do.
Okay.
We do all.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up about the ghostwriter thing, because you started there and then it didn't work. It fell flat because there was no strategy and there was no brand, and that had to emerge in order to get what would be ultimately the output right, which has always been my approach. Like you kind of get what you pay for in this industry, in the agency life. Like if you want to go cheap, you can do it, but you'll get a less sophisticated copywriter or strategist or creative. So my staunch philosophy, which is what we started the whole business on, which is what I wrote the book about, which is how we sold the business, was you have to slow down a little bit before you speed up and get the messaging and the strategy right. And that's what that deck, when I showed you with Tyler, like what we did, that was, and then on that same note, people don't want to wait that long. People don't want to go that slow. They want to activate. And so what we did is we sort of flipped the agency model on its head. And instead of doing this over phases of months, we actually have a program. It's our flagship program where we get the client in for a full day. At the top of the engagement, we spend it like 6-7 hours with a single client, and we build it all out in like whiteboard creative session. And then my team goes and delivers that brand strategy and brand identity. Brand identity comes first, messaging first in 2 weeks. And then strategy comes 2 weeks after that. And then we move into ongoing execution, which is we're full service. So we do podcast production, we do ghostwriting, we do social media management, we do PR, we do photography, headshots, any graphic design, like anything that you would need for building a personal brand platform, we do. Not everybody needs all of it, but we can certainly offer, a customized approach to what you need. And that's one kind of way to work with us, where we basically do it all for you. And that's a 12-month engagement, because I'll tell you this, if you're kind of invisible right now online and expect to see massive results in 3 months or 6, it's a long game. Like the people who are crushing it. Adam, how long have you been doing this? For
I
real?
say this all the time. 18 months. It took me
Uh-huh.
12 months before I understood why I was writing the words that I'm writing. And now I
Yeah.
understand perfectly. I have
Yep.
3 different audiences. I know what post will agitate what audience, and to what extent before I even post it usually.
Yep. Yep.
And I dedicate a tremendous amount of time to meticulously answering every single comment I get, because I
Right.
view it as a community play. And I feel
Right.
like it's the H to H, right? It's like, that's what I'm doing this for in the first place. It's to make people feel like they know me like a friend.
Oh yeah.
But it was 12 months is the short answer before
Yeah.
anything even close to happened.
Exactly. So you have
And
to
now,
be.
yeah, and now that I sort of, so like, I love this conversation because I feel like I now have vocabulary to explain this so much more clearly to people, like
Yeah.
why it's a long game. It's like, it took me a while to figure out my pillars. Even if you figured out your pillars, it's going to take 9 months of waterboarding those pillars into people's heads for them to be resonant and like get this compounding momentum and everything. And that's just like,
Yeah.
what I believe from posting a bunch, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I imagine if you had, because you just dove right in and you've made it like 18 months to have the impact you've made is incredible. And if you had had a little bit more of that strategic clarity from the top, and there's nothing wrong with like figuring it out as you go. I figure it out as I go to some degree because it's always changing, and that's part of the fun. But there is a chapter in my book in the very beginning of the book called "It's a Long Game." Like this is a long game, you guys. You can't dip in to LinkedIn consistently for 3 months and expect to have a brand. People who are, if you look at all the people you probably admire, like the Chris Walkers of the world, who are like beyond, they've been doing it for a decade plus. So, you just have to commit to like this being the thing that you're not just building the asset right now of your brand for your business today, you're building it for your future. You're building it for your legacy career, because you're going to probably sell your business or jump to another role or whatever. You're always going to be you. And so building that and investing in that is like, I think the most important asset you can invest in your career is your personal brand. So we have a 12-month program back to that, and that's why it's 12 months. Because we want to deliver. We want to be able to link arms with our clients and commit to that path and have it compound, because that's what happens when you're consistent, it compounds. There's another program that we do where we just do brand and strategy. We build out basically what you just saw for Tyler, but actually a lot more granular because we did execution for Tyler. We managed his brand for like 2 or 3 years. The other program we do is called the Thought Leadership Strategy, where we just build the brand and the strategy for you in a pretty comprehensive playbook and then hand that to you so that you can take it and build it. Like if you have the aptitude like Adam to like crank and have the time and do the content yourself, but just need the roadmap, we also do that. Or if you have an internal team and you don't want to outsource it to an agency, we can do that. And then we have one other program called the Brand Essentialist, which is just messaging and visual brand identity, like look, feel, logo, colors, fonts, like tone. That's just a branding package that is not necessarily a strategy package, which it depends on where you are. Some people just need messaging and to polish up how they look online. So those are the ways you can work with us. And it's
Nice.
really fun. Yeah.
So
By the way, everybody's dying to know approximate prices for stuff. Just like you don't have, I mean, could you just, is it $1 million? Is it like $1,000? Right? Like
Yeah.
what is it
No
like?
and no. It's so our if you're going into the thought leadership program, which is the 12-month program, you're looking at like an annual investment of probably 150 base. Broken down by month is like, 8 to 10 a month. The thought leadership strategy development is like a one-time fee of around 30, 34. And then the brand essentialist program, which is branding, which is our entry-level programs, around 20. Like I said, you get what you pay for. I think we're pretty competitively priced. If you want to go try and hire a social media agency to do this all for you at $2,000 a month, you'll probably have what Adam had and need to revert and kind of come back to square one. And that's why we never jumped in at execution. We took the time at the beginning to really, really understand the client, the audience, the message, the objectives, the strategy, which channels for distribution made sense according to their industry. Like that stuff is what makes you stand out at the end of the day. So that's the real. That's what we cost.
So what are the
Go ahead,
top three?
go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question. So, Jessica, what are the top 3 reasons why somebody fails to build a brand? So they embark on the journey, but you see them not ending up.
They don't make the time. They're not fully in and committed.
Mhm.
They have resistance to being seen. They just don't feel like, there's a bit of insecurity there, which I understand. But that can get in the way. They don't know their message. They're just simply not clear, and they don't know, they're paralyzed. Every time they try to go create something, they don't do it because they're mush and they're spread out in their brain and they don't take action. So it's messaging, it's confidence, it's consistency. It's like all the things that I've been saying. Great question.
By the way, I went to go buy your book. I sent the wrong link earlier. I went to your new book.
Oh, I have a new book too.
Yeah, but I'm getting this right now. Is anybody else buying this book? Has anybody else bought it
Oh,
yet?
it looks like some people bought the wrong book.
Yeah.
That's okay too. Awesome.
So somebody asked, somebody was
I
like,
own my book.
somebody's like, those prices are insane. What can I do? My answer was buy the book.
You guys, I'm serious. This is why I wrote the book. I wrote
Yeah.
the book. Like this book is what, $25 right now on Amazon. I don't even know. I talked to my lawyer. I talked to my dad. They were like, are you sure you want to give it away in your book? Like what you're doing at the agency. I was ridiculously generous with this book. I read a lot of marketing books as research for this book. And I was like, these are stupid because they don't give you anything and they just want you to pay them more money to give them the real goods. And I took an opposite approach with this book and I gave you the keys to the kingdom. The caveat is that you have to do it yourself. But I say, and they did come, I got a lot of clients who read the book because they were like, I need more help with this. However, if you read my book, it's part workbook. I mean, it's a book, but there's tons of frameworks and exercises and tools. And if you read my book cover to cover and you get out a pen and you do what I tell you to do, you will have a brand and a strategy by the end of the book. That is my commitment to you. So, and I've sold 100,000 copies of this book. So people have seen results from the book. So would love to welcome any of you into SimplyBe if you want to have a conversation. This was not a sales pitch at all, but if you guys need the help, come find me. But at the very least, get the book.
I got the book. I'm gonna read it.
Great.
Man, this was awesome. I don't know what I expected, but this was not it.
What did you expect?
I don't know. I just didn't know. I just
There is
didn't know what you were, I didn't know what you were gonna say. And I had never heard this, despite being very in this world. I had never heard this explained like this. You know, that's telling me not to be a dick. So yeah, like for instance, somebody asked a question about pillars earlier, right?
Yes.
And when I was trying to figure my pillars out, I got this Justin Welsh worksheet and I was trying to like fill it out, but like I didn't do the other stuff first. You know, I didn't understand what it was about me that I was trying to express and who you know what I mean? Like I had not created the character and I was just like, oh, email marketing and e-commerce and like whatever, you know what I mean? It wasn't, that's not
Yes, you bring up a really good point. I want to be mindful of time because I know we only have an hour, but I'm so glad you actually said that, because that's kind of like the sauce of what I do and what I believe about this space is we are building personal brands, not corporate brands or product brands, but personal brands. And people respond to emotion. That's what drives everything. Every purchase, every referral, every action is based upon emotion. I've heard this once before and I've repeated it my whole career. People aren't trying to be like brands. Brands are trying to be like people. Brands are trying to affect an emotional affinity upon itself constantly. And when we think about in the hologram and the pillars, like when you guys read my book or you do this exercise, and I walk you through how to get your pillars down, but it's not just what you do and why people would pay you money, but who you are and why they should like you and trust you and want to connect with you. And that's based on your humanity. So the hologram is here to reconcile the truth that branding needs to be an exercise in clarity, to feel someone's brand in less than 10 seconds. But human beings aren't meant to be understood in that amount of time because we're humans. So how do you bring those two things together? And the hologram is pretty phenomenal because I've done this again for thousands of people and we just get it every time. To create that magnetism, you have to not just talk about e-com and email marketing, but like you and like the things that you're dealing with and who you are and affect that emotion and that personality. So yes, well done,
that's
Adam.
definitely why my stuff now is working.
Exactly.
Some guy said in a comment a few months ago, he's like, wait, you're just crushing us because you keep telling everyone about all the mistakes you're making as you're building your startup. I'm like, don't tell anyone.
Hey, can I tell you something really crazy? So, and
Yeah.
I gotta jump, but I went, I'm in the middle of a launch right now. I'm launching my new book and my team is helping me with all of these automation sequences. And we work with Active Campaign, and like one of my team members didn't click the right button and we sent out the wrong email with it was an internal subject line that went to like
Yeah.
thousands of people. It said like BNY sales email number 3.
Yeah.
I was pissed, but like understood, like things happen. So we had to send out like an oops email, like we kind of had to correct ourselves and address it. I sold more books from that one oops email than I did in the entire sequence.
Incredible. Yeah.
People want you're human.
I'm not surprised.
Nice.
Well,
Amazing.
Jessica, thank you so much. You're so awesome.
Hey,
If there's ever anything I
great.
can do, and I'm sure Santos will say the same, to help you in any way, just let me know. I'm
Aw,
here for
ditto,
you.
dude. Thank you for having me.
No, I mean, this was so
Yeah,
rad.
this is a lovely
The
conversation.
audience,
Great
thank
session.
her. This was so great. Everybody will send a recording around. you're the best. Thank you so much for all
You
this.
are too. I was looking forward to this and thank you for making it work with my schedule. You guys are awesome. Thank you all for being here. Come find me on LinkedIn. You guys don't just request me, like drop me an email so that I can like follow. LinkedIn's a little intense for me. I have a lot of requests. Like just say you were here and let's be friends and don't be
Jessica's
strangers.
turning 28 next Thursday. That's why she couldn't come.
That's right.
Thank you so much. This was an awesome session. I had so much fun.
You too.
Take care.
I'll talk to you guys
Cheers.
soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.